And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome, everyone, to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. And if you'd like additional weather information on top of what I provide in this YouTube video, you can go to weather.gov. That is the National Weather Service's online presence. It'll bring you to a web page with a map of the continental U.S., Hawaii and Alaska to the lower left, and then tabs for the territories. And if you point and click anywhere on this map, you'll get a very specific forecast for any place in the nation, including any relevant watches, warnings, or advisories. And I like to start out showing the lower 48 just to kind of give you an idea what's happening, because many of us have friends and family in other parts of the country. And boy, it's been an incredibly warm stretch here in through the Midwest. Once again, the Chicago area having record high temperatures around 80 degrees. Some of these readings pushing up even into southern lower Michigan for the second day in a row. We now have the threat of severe weather. Some severe thunderstorm tornado watches have been issued along cold front back through northwest Missouri down into eastern Kansas and Oklahoma. On the backside of the system in the colder air, there are freeze warnings. And so the battleground is set up for some severe weather there. Here in Alaska, we are transitioning from fall into winter, and a parade of strong North Pacific lows will continue on and off through at least mid-November. I mean, it likely will go beyond that, but we are really locked into this pattern. And we're going to see some more precipitation, a trick or treat here, a light mix, icy mix of precipitation, southwest areas along Bristol Bay tonight. And then maybe some more snow into south central areas, including Anchorage, places that already got the first significant snowfall of the season on Monday. And let's take a look also with part of this parade of Pacific lows. There's going to be the powerful remnants of a typhoon that is currently impacting Taiwan. And that storm, the remnants of it, will be heading northeastward toward Alaska early next week. And coming up here later this week, new moon occurs on Friday. And don't forget, yes, it's already that time of year again. We fall back 1 hour. The time change comes up 2 a.m. on Sunday morning, heading back to standard time. So looking at what we got going on, Dillingham has a winter weather advisory for now through the overnight, the early overnight. As this front pushes in, it'll bring a light icy mix of snow, perhaps a little freezing rain, trying to go to rain, especially along the coast. Temperature there only 21 degrees, though, as of mid-afternoon. Been a colder offshore northeast flow in the vicinity of Dillingham. And those areas along Bristol Bay will be picking up that precipitation as we go through tonight, associated with an occluded front coming in off the Bering. Yukon River Bridge up in the central interior northwest of Fairbanks is under winter weather advisory for later tonight through late Thursday night. Winds are going to pick up in areas along the Dalton Highway through Gobbler's Knob in that area. Could see a period of blowing snow that could at least have some impact to travel. Otherwise, in the eastern Alaska range, the eastern areas along the Alcan border, we still have some lingering light snow from the storm that came up through south central, and temperature there 17 degrees, so there's plenty of cold air up across the mainland. And then down in the central panhandle, Angoon has cloudy skies with a few sprinkles, and there are still some areas of light rain or some rain showers that linger across portions of the panhandle as low pressure begins to pull away out of the Gulf and off of Haida Gwaii. But as we come up this weekend, don't forget, yes, we return to standard time early Sunday morning at 2 a.m. We will fall back 1 hour, so the best benefit for many people is that's an extra hour of sleep. But looking at what we have here on the hazardous weather map, we have the winter weather advisory here for areas along Bristol Bay and up in the northern parts of the Alaska Peninsula. There's going to be a period of mixed precipitation, some snow that may mix with or even change to a little freezing rain and rain, especially along coastal areas as we go through tonight. This front's coming in and it's going to gradually work its way eastward. Also, that front will create a period of snow, maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow there in the vicinity of St. Lawrence Island. where there is also a winter weather advisory, and you throw in wind gusts 40 to near 50 miles an hour, that'll create some blowing snow. So that's why we have those 2 winter weather advisories. And then the one up here in the central interior, as you go up the Dalton Highway, Gobbler's Knob, that area there, could see some blowing snow later tonight, through the day tomorrow, into later tomorrow evening. And looking at the satellite imagery, we have one area of low pressure pulling away well southwest of the Panhandle in Haida Gwaii. That's heading, actually it's going to come on shore around the Washington coast here as we head toward Friday. In between, a ridge of high pressure, some clearer skies, and then here to the west, this is the stronger low out in the western bearing with the occluded front arcing out ahead of it, and along this front there is a band of precipitation in the colder air. It's snow, transitions as a little milder air tries to come in off the bearing. There could be a little bit of freezing rain or just plain old rain as that system works its way gradually eastward and inland overnight and early on Thursday morning. But that will lead to the secondary low development, not a strong low as sometimes happens, but there is a secondary low trying to take shape right now down there around False Pass. And as that heads northeastward, it's just kind of slows the front, but it's also going to create the potential for some additional snow here over areas of south central as we go through Thursday, Halloween. Now back out here, here's that low southwest of Haida Gwaii. That's heading southeastward. That's the same low that came up and gave the big snows here to areas of south central and the southeast mainland over the past couple of days. Now as we get into late tonight, early on Thursday morning, the low is filling out here in the bearing, coming up to 973 millibars. We have the secondary low just on the south end of Kodiak Island, and there's going to be an area of light snow push inland across the southwest interior up the Kuskokwim River, as well as along and to the west side of the Alaska Range. And by the time we get into Thursday afternoon, we'll have a weak low in the western Gulf, and that will push that front a little closer up through Cook Inlet, lower Kenai Peninsula. And this is what could help generate some additional snowfall in the areas of south central, same places that got the snow just 48 hours ago. And then back out to the west, we have the low continuing to fill 981, but here comes the next low. This one down there at 960 millibars. This low is going to be passing just along and south of the Alaska, the Aleutians and the Alaska Peninsula, and that low will eventually head up into the Gulf and weaken over the weekend, but it's going to still have some pretty good winds around it and some moderate to locally heavy areas of rain in the eastern Aleutians up to the Alaska Peninsula. But if that's not enough, for early next week, it's beyond this low, further southwest, the remnants of a typhoon. Typhoon Kong-Ray, which is the one that is currently, as of this Wednesday, impacting Taiwan. It's considered a super typhoon with winds gusting upwards of 150 miles an hour. That will weaken, but it's going to have the residual circulation will make it up into the southeast Bering and could impact the Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula, southwest coast. So stay tuned to later forecasts over the weekend. Impacts would come Monday into Tuesday. So looking at lows tonight above freezing in the Panhandle, generally speaking, maybe 35 there. Wrangell, Petersburg up to Juneau. Going to get down into the teens, especially if you get any clearing. If you don't get any fog or anything up there, temperatures easily in the teens, 10 above over at McGrath, other side of the Alaska Range, getting down into the 20s, though clouds are going to be gradually increasing from the southwest later tonight, and I could even see some lighter snow overspreading the areas on the west side of Cook Inlet here and the Alaska Range as we go through late tonight and early on Thursday morning. Highs Thursday afternoon, we're looking at readings in the 40s along the Panhandle, coolest around Juneau, maybe just above 40, but flirting with 50 there at Klawak and Craig. Back to the west, temperatures don't get above freezing at Glen Allen. Near freezing for highs, Anchorage, Kenai, Soldotna up to Talkeetna, 45 Kodiak City, as expect along the relatively mild waters there of the Gulf. And then for Friday morning lows, we're expecting readings 35 to 40 in the Panhandle, 20s across south central interior, upper 20s near 30 Anchorage Bowl, and then highs Friday afternoon Maybe just a little warmer in south central, getting back up above freezing, because with that front, it is pushing milder air. It's kind of creeping up along the western Gulf, and especially along the Alaska side and the east side of the Alaska Range up Cook Inlet. So I do expect a little milder temperatures and some melting on Friday afternoon. Temperatures could be up to about 48 or so as you get over toward Metlakatla and again Craig. Coldest temperatures in the north, central and northern areas below zero. Again, the usual suspects, the places that often are cold. We're going to see temperatures below zero. Even along coastal areas of the Seward Peninsula, we're expecting at least upper teens. And then daytime highs will be coldest along the Brooks Range, and areas of the North Slope will be single digits above or below zero. Otherwise, Fairbanks may get up to about 20. Notice, though, with that push of milder air, 34 at Savunga, 31 Imanuk. And for Friday morning, coldest temperatures along and north of the Brooks Range, below zero again there. And getting into the Friday afternoon, temperatures generally in the 20s along the Tanana Valley, teens, lower 20s, Yukon Valley, and then teens between there and the Brooks Range, and then along the Arctic coast, highs generally low to mid 20s. For the southwest, temperatures are actually going to be steady to slowly rising tonight with that front pushing slowly inland. There'll initially be snow with the frontal arrival, and then as a little milder air comes in, you'll get a mix of a little freezing rain, sleet, and they may even go over to just some rain along the immediate coast of Kuskokwim, Bristol Bays. Trailing down along the Alaska Peninsula, lows near 40, and then temperatures Thursday afternoon will be mid-upper 40s, Alaska Peninsula up through the Aleutians. We're looking at temperatures could be up around 40 at Nunavik Island and Makoriak, and 35, 36, 38 from Bethel down toward King Salmon and Dillingham. And then temperatures Friday morning will be below freezing here across the southwest, especially into the interior, and readings staying above freezing through the middle and lower Alaska Peninsula and the Aleutians. And temperatures Friday afternoon, we're looking to be around freezing at Bethel. As we get up further inland up the Kuskokwim River, highs only a bit above 20 there at McGrath, so it's definitely colder as you creep up through into the middle portion of the Yukon Valley. And then trailing down along the Alaska Peninsula, we expect highs mid and upper 40s, including Chiknik down through Dutch Harbor and all the way out to Adak. So here's the latest 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, November 5th through the 9th. And of note is that with this remnant of a typhoon coming up into the southeast Bering, what that may do is force a pretty mild surge of air coming northward along the Gulf and into the eastern interior. So it favors in this period. With the storm track coming out of the North Pacific into the Bering, we'd have more of a southeast southerly flow coming up into this area of the mainland, so that's why temperatures are favored above normal, including the Panhandle. It'll be kind of sloppy potential weather because you still have some remnants of colder air, and that can lead to freezing rain or icy mix of precipitation. So we'll have to watch going through this period, but nevertheless, as I said, we're just going to have this parade of, at times, strong North Pacific lows moving up into the Bering or up into the Gulf, and so it's going to keep an occasionally stormy pattern going, and you guessed it, we still have a good chance of above normal precipitation, especially over south central, southeast mainland into the Panhandle. So within these areas, that means heavier snowfall in the mountains, and then for areas along the coast, probably mainly rain, but then for places in between, could be riding that fine fence between snow or some sort of mixed precipitation. So again, going to be an interesting period here as we end up going through the first couple of weeks of November.